Would you say that you're a little bit fragile at the moment? It feels like it's 1 or 2 rounds and then you lose confidence, or maybe you start to overthink things, or what's the feeling within the camp?
I think that's happening, and you can see that on those things that I mentioned.
Yeah.
Because the confidence is not there, because the view of how the round is supposed to happen and how the defense is supposed to happen, sometimes the view is not there, and then you can see some choices, and you can see some risks, and you can see some utility usage that's going to be costly at some time. So yeah, it's all.
You have Fallen joining us on the desk. First of all, commiserations. Really appreciate you joining us despite the circumstances. Tell us about that train, because coming off that first half, we thought you guys had momentum. Then we switched into the second half, and it felt like there were a lot of mistakes for you guys, right?
I would say that series was pretty much lost on both CT sides, not capable to administrate the pressure and, in my opinion, administrate the usage on the utility as well. I think sometimes there is too much panic, and you gotta understand that you're playing a tournament. People are not gonna walk out mid straight, like they're not gonna play first time, so you gotta administrate your utility well. And I think on that regard, we kind of didn't evolve as we need to win matches like that. And secondarily, they actually play very well on train as well. I think they made a comeback was possible because they dominated us going towards ladder. They made two of our players to go 6 HP instantly. So that was a very difficult round to win right away, right from the bat. So it was that started the comeback on the T side. So I have to rewatch the match to understand more, but I think overall, gotta be a little bit smarter and a little bit more cautious on how we want to approach the T sides, because I think we're just playing for things they are not doing too much, and that's going to be costly.
It's not a secret that, obviously, as you said, the CT sides were looking rough in this game. At times you look like a very well-drilled machines. At times in the game you look like you're way superior to M80, and then it's like there's a mental switch or something. Would you say that you're a little bit fragile at the moment? It feels like it's 1 or 2 rounds and then you lose confidence, or maybe you start to overthink things, or what's the feeling within the camp?
I think that's happening, and you can see that on those things that I mentioned.
Yeah.
Because the confidence is not there, because the view of how the round is supposed to happen and how the defense is supposed to happen, sometimes the view is not there, and then you can see some choices, and you can see some risks, and you can see some utility usage that's going to be costly at some time. So yeah, it's all, at least Inferno is mostly about that. But overall, I think we have been playing good T sides. They're very good players on the T side, and on the CT sides we got to find our groove, because it's been lackluster lately.
Yeah, it's a lot about the pace, I think, that you try to put in the game. Like when you come on Dust 2, you knew exactly what you wanted to do, right? Like the pace, you take control of areas, and you wait because they make mistakes. And that's what we saw on the T side. But it comes, yeah, a lot of the basics, I think, of the game, right? Like bomb planet situation and all that kind of stuff. And how much of your energy does it take to like try to make that the best possible for the team? Because there were some things that were lacking there.
You know, it takes a lot of... I give everything that I have every time, not only in the match, but before the match, on preparation, on practice. I try everything that I can. I try to help with the experience that I have. Some things have been improving and others aren't, and we gotta check on those things that are not being improved, and they're kind of repetitive at some point, you know. So at some point we gotta find a way to step up and be more collective and be a little bit more smart with the utility usage, smart with the decisions, the risks we're gonna take. Because yeah, it's tough. I understand as well that the team has been lacking a lot of performance on the CT side lately, and that sums up on every game that we play. So sometimes the confidence is not there because of the recent past, but you gotta find a way to put that aside and play the game. You know, if we are able to play the game, we should never be losing those matches.
Yeah, for sure. And also, was their slow playstyle kind of what you think struggled a little bit? Because it's a bit of a thing that happened throughout the whole best of 3, right? Like they were very slow on the T side, and so talking about the utility usage, that's where we have to a bit jiggle a little bit, like switch the areas around. Is that going to be the main focus, you think, for you and the teammates you have around?
Yeah, we are always trying to improve on a lot of things. Some maps have been improving lately. That we found some new grooves. On Anubis, for example, has been a map that have been suffering a lot, including Mirage, and we have been stepping up on those maps. But overall, there is some key factors that they keep happening, and in mostly it's because of the risks and the decisions we take, as I mentioned, and we got to find a way to fix those things. And I do believe a lot in the team. I think there's a lot of potential, but the early results on this year has been lackluster. I think the team can play with more capability, and it's kind of 50-50 as well, because we, as you said, we can play super well at some moments, and in the others, it's just not there.
I imagine it's been, quite difficult to be finding the time to work on those things, right? Because you're one of those teams that have been attending a hell of a lot of events. Not going to be stopping either. You've got Bucharest, Astana, Dallas coming up. Anything for the next week and a half, 2 weeks before you guys go to Bucharest that you're going to be doing?
I think after this result, we're probably going back to Malta, a little bit more boot camp, and we're probably gonna have good talks and try to understand those things that are happening and try to keep improving on them. Every single team here in the tournament is trying the same. They're trying to improve themselves. They're trying to get better, winning matches. There are teams who are coming here in the tournament and they right away they can think about the title. And it's just not the case for us in a lot of teams here. So it's all about realizing and learning something for the next tournament. We play a lot of tournaments. That's the great thing of CS. It's not only one tournament per year. So every tournament we play, you have the opportunity and you have the chance to learn something and apply on the next games. And what's being a little bit frustrating for all of us, not only me but all the teammates for sure, is that some of the things they are repetitive and we're not going through some of those things. But we've got to find a way to go through. That's the game, and we're gonna find a way.
Fallen, really appreciate your open and honest nature as always. Commiserations once again.